So, can you tell anything different? No? I bought a green screen. I bought a green screen, and I thought the funniest thing I could do was to put my old background back on the green screen to make it look like I'm here. Look, here, watch this, you see? I think I forgot to set it up. Hi everybody, it's Az here from HeelvsBabyface. Oops. So, Metro Exodus has made its way into news in recent days. And I've kind of taken a step back because it was quite clear when things started that things were just going to continue. So I had other things that I wanted to discuss anyway, and it looks like this story is now pretty much playing itself out in its entirety. So I thought this will be the perfect time to get everything in one video. So if you're not aware, Metro Exodus was, when it was announced to be coming out console, PC, Steam. And then only last week, which is approximately 3 or so weeks before the launch of the game itself, they suddenly announced that it's now going to be an Epic Store exclusive. And although they will fulfill the pre-orders on Steam, no more pre-orders on Steam. And it will not be available on Steam for about a year or so. So put it this way. If it comes out on Steam in 2020, virtually all the sales of this product are going to be done. And if there are any further sales to be done afterwards, they're most likely going to be at a highly discounted rate because it's a single-person game, single-player games. Unless they are absolutely exceptional, don't really hold their value too much. There is the odd one or two, but for the most part, they tend to drop down in price relatively quickly due to the fact that there isn't any, additional play to be had. There's nothing wrong with that as well, can I just say? I know this is a huge move there's got to be constant updates and DLCs and blah, blah, blah and everything. Sometimes a story is just a story. And that's all it needs to be. And I'm fine with that. I'm absolutely fine with that. So with that said, I've done a couple of videos in recent times as regards to Valve versus Epic. With the Epic Store versus Steam. And I've done both of these videos from the perspective of these two big behemoths smashing together. What I haven't done is actually given a perspective from our side, the gamer side, and how it actually benefits or is detrimental to us. And the Epic Store is great for developers. Great for developers. Because worst case scenario, on Steam, you only get 65% cut of your game. 30% goes to Steam, and if you're using the Unreal Engine, then you get hit by another 5% fee for using the Unreal Engine. And then, of course, it's before all the other details have to be taken into consideration. Whereas on the Epic Store, it's just you get 88% cut regardless of whether or not you're using the Unreal Engine. So from a developer-publisher side, it's much better to be on the Epic Store financially. Now, that is just from a basic financial value. I'm not talking about the amount of people that go through, the diversity of the potential client base on Steam versus Epic Store or anything like that. I'm just talking about from a business decision, you could in theory walk away with a lot more money by being on the Epic Games Store. And we know that Ubisoft has signed a multi-game deal with Epic as regards to putting their games on the Epic Store, and that will start with The Division 2, which will be an Epic Store exclusive. Now, due to the fact that this was so close to launch, it has caused a lot of problems for people. And it's not just because they have to now install the Epic Launcher if they want to play this on PC and they didn't get a pre-ordering on Steam. No, it's due to what the Epic Store actually offers gamers. Or in this case, what it doesn't. And it doesn't offer gamers anywhere near the features that Steam does. with a couple of the major features being forums and the ability to give reviews. Epic are putting it in the hands of the actual publishers whether or not they want to put their game up for review. So they get to make the decision. So they could put their game up and say, no, we don't want reviews. Because we do know now, of course, that if publishers make poor decisions, if they make wrong moves, then they could get hit with some review bombs. You know, they could get hit with bad reviews. And so when you're putting it in their hands, whether or not they want to have reviews, of course they're going to say, for the most part, no. Unless they genuinely think they have a surefire, can't fail hit, in which case, yeah, they're going to put reviews. Hey, look at us, we're on the Epic Store and we're putting reviews up. Oh, is our game great? Shucks. You know, unless they have one of those on their hands, then why risk it? Why risk it? And so that is causing a lot of frustration. That is causing a lot of frustration because the Epic Store does not allow anywhere near the features of Steam. And what has happened is people have started to take, unfortunately for Steam, to downvote, to downvote bomb Metro games as a show of defiance as regards to this decision. Which has also caused one of the developers to come out and make a little bit of an angry post in Russian. Now, this is translated from Russian, so it's pretty broken, and you have to really read between the lines here. But I think this first little paragraph really says that he understands that this decision was made late in the day and can cause some problems, some inconvenience to players about having to install the Epic launcher to play it. I think he's missing a little bit of the picture there, as we've just been discussing about the features. That's really, I think, what people are more annoyed about, or lack thereof, of course, in the Epic Game Store. And then he goes, and I'm not trying to be too harsh on him here, because I understand what one part of what he says, but he goes into this tirade that is really directed towards people who pirate games. Now, I think last year in America, the gaming industry did a roughly around $46.8 billion, which is the most it's ever done. The gaming industry is thriving. Piracy isn't a problem. Once upon a time, it could have been, and there was a lot of concerns that piracy was going to be an issue for the gaming industry, but we're talking like 10 years ago. There used to be a bit of a hoo-ha about 10 years or so ago about piracy. Now you never hear anything about it. Why? Most likely because the amount of games being pirated versus the amount of games being actually purchased is, minimal. Absolutely minimal. And doesn't really have an effect in the grand scale of things. And so he goes on this really weird tirade about, some people are going, well, I'm just going to pirate the game then. If it's not going to be on Steam, I'm just going to pirate it. Which some of it will be bravado, some people will do, but ultimately I don't think it's going to have a significant effect on sales in regards to piracy. The move from Steam to the Epic Store, that is most likely going to have the biggest shift, if there is a shift in sales numbers, than anything pirate-wise. And I'm not condoning piracy, I don't believe in it personally, but I'm not here to judge. But I don't think piracy is going to really have any effect on sales figures, regardless of whether or not people are taken to forums or to places to vent their frustration. And then he goes on to say that if you do boycott the game, and if you do go and pirate it, then we're not going to put any more Exodus games on PC. That's when he goes really dumb. That's when he goes really dumb. I have sympathy in as much as this is out of his hand. He's a developer. He's not the person that makes these decisions. It's the publisher that makes these decisions. It's Deep Silver that made this decision at the last minute to shift it from Steam to the Epic Game Store. He's got no control over it, and that is frustrating. But Sunshine, if you want to get pissed off with somebody, you get pissed off with Deep Silver. Don't get pissed off with these people. They're just annoyed. So he goes off into a bit of a, and I'm not going to have much sympathy for him now. He goes off into a bit of a no woe is me situation. Oh, woe is me. We've put blood, sweat and tears into this game. No doubt that you have. But if you want to get narky, then at least direct your frustration to the right people. Not just, a bunch of people that are just mouthing out because they're annoyed it ain't coming up on Steam. That is not what you do. So this, of course, because we are on the age of the internet, and you stick something like this down and it's everywhere, this, of course, caused a response by the company in a Twat Longer post. And the Twat Longer post says, the recent decision to move Metro Exodus from Steam to Epic Store was made by Koch Media. Deep Silver alone. The recent comments made by a member of the 4A Games development team do not reflect Deep Silver's or 4A Games' view on the future of the franchise. They do reflect the hurt and disappointment of a passionate individual who has seen what was previously nothing but positive goodwill towards his work turn into controversy due to a business decision he had no control over. And I just want to stop it right there, because that is pretty much spot on. That is pretty much spot on. But his hurt and disappointment and passion, and I got no problem with any of those, needed to be directed here. Koch Media, Deep Silver. Not, like I said, the couple of people who are mouthing off saying, we respectfully ask that any and all valid feedback over this decision is directed at Koch Media / Deep Silver and not the developers of 4A Games. And that's all well and good, and I do agree with that. That's where it should be, but we know that they don't give a shit. We know from people like Activision and Blizzard, publishers don't give a toss. They have no interest in feedback. They have no interest in what you feel about your franchise that you love. They don't care. They're just bothered about money. So that will fall on deaf ears. I think the reason why people do approach the publishing, the developers, is because they're the ones that have a heart and they're the ones that understand the frustration. And so, yeah, it might be slightly misdirected, and I absolutely get that, but at least they're the people who will have some empathy, because they know the publishers don't give two hoots. The future release strategy of the Metro series lies with Koch Media / Deep Silver. Our decision to partner with Epic Games was based on the goal of investing in the future of the series and our development partner at 4A Games. We have every intention of continuing this franchise, and a PC version will always be at the heart of our plans. No, your decision, yeah, I mean, that's a very nice way to say the business decision was made for money reasons. And I don't have any problems with that per se, because, yeah, it's better for you as a company that you get a better cut from the Epic Games store. But it was so late in the day that, a lot of the Steam sales would have likely been on day one, because a lot of gamers are getting out of pre-order culture. So, I think a lot of the sales that would have been done on PC would have been done on day one on Steam. And so if this is affected, if the sales of Metro Exodus are affected, and yes, the game did have a lot of goodwill right up until about a week ago, until this decision was made at the last minute. I don't personally think this decision should have been made. I think it was too late in the day. I think they, if from a just a logical perspective, they just sort of said, okay, for this title, too late. Maybe for the next one, we'll consider it maybe for the next one. But no, the publisher saw a window of opportunity to make more profit here. And they didn't care that it came at the expense of the gamer. And more importantly, they haven't thought this through, because it's so close to release, did they expect people to be happy? So this could negatively affect the sales on the games, and if it does, Deep Silver only have themselves to blame. And I do feel sorry for the developers who have worked hard on this, and it is looking stunning. I mean, just, this screenshot that I got here. This is looking like a bloody stunning game, and might be a great game to play. But it's the publishers that are making these dumbass decisions, and they're affecting the gamers, and in this case, they're also affecting the developers as well. and they'll have nobody to blame but themselves if Metro Exodus doesn't sell as expected. So yeah, this game is in trouble. But I hope you enjoyed the vid. If you did, do get a thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel. Follow me on social media and Twitch for live streaming. Links, they're in the description box down below. And I'll be back with some more stuff very soon. You take care. Bye for now.